hug you and kiss you, and then I'll never be able to let you go.
When people talk about The Simpsons, the first things that usually come to mind are the jokes, the yellow characters, and the fact that the show has been on TV longer than almost anything else ever created. But one topic that has quietly fascinated fans for decades is the complicated, messy, and surprisingly emotional dynamic between Marge and Homer Simpson. And more specifically, the strange cultural myth that Marge has repeatedly cheated on Homer. So today, we're going to walk through every single episode across the series where Marge was tempted, misunderstood, emotionally distant, or romantically approached by someone else, and explain what actually happened, why people claim she cheated, and what the show itself is trying to say about marriage, loyalty, and temptation. This isn't a list of confirmed affairs, because canonically, Marge has never cheated on Homer. Instead, this is the story of every moment fans interpreted, exaggerated, or misremembered as infidelity, and why those moments still matter. The first and most iconic storyline comes from Season 1, when the show was still figuring out what it wanted to be. Marge meets Jacques, the smooth-talking French bowling instructor in Life on the Fast Lane. It becomes the go-to example whenever anyone tries to argue that Marge once cheated or came close. Jacques doesn't just flirt with Marge, he actively pursues her, gives her private lessons, compliments her, and gently pushes her toward romantic feelings she knows she shouldn't have.
All right.
Okay, here you go. You keep score on this. What size shoes you wear?
Never you mind.
Can't wear street shoes on the lanes. You gotta wear bowling shoes. What size, please?
13 AA.
13 AA?
And the show portrays it all with a level of seriousness that surprised viewers, especially that early in the series. Marge isn't looking for an affair. She goes to the bowling alley because Homer bought her a bowling ball as a selfish birthday present, clearly meant for himself. She's lonely, frustrated, and hungry for tenderness. Jacques senses that vulnerability and leans into it. Fans often misremember their relationship as explicitly physical. In reality, the tension is emotional rather than sexual. The near affair culminates in Jacques inviting her to his apartment. She seems ready to go, but at the last second she chooses Homer, and the episode ends with her running back into his arms. This moment is probably the closest Marge has ever come to actually cheating, and it established the template for every future temptation storyline. A mix of emotional hunger, external attention, and the ultimate choice to return home. As the show continued, the writers revisited this dynamic multiple times. Rather than repeating the Jacques storyline, they explored subtler variations. One early example is Colonel Homer, where Homer becomes infatuated with a country singer named Lurleen Lumpkin. Although this story focuses on Homer's temptation, many fans interpret Marge's reaction, jealousy, withdrawal, defensiveness, as evidence that Marge must also have strayed at some point. Another episode that gets heavily misinterpreted is The Last Temptation of Homer. The plot centers on Homer nearly having an affair with Mindy Simmons, but Marge's storyline is often taken out of context. When Marge gets sick, some viewers assume she's intentionally pushing Homer away or allowing emotional distance that could enable cheating.
Look in your heart. I think you'll see what you want.
Again, nothing like that actually happens. Still, clips circulated online, usually fan edits, imply that Marge was also getting attention elsewhere during that episode. That false narrative has become part of fan culture memory, even though it isn't reflected in the canon. A more genuinely ambiguous situation occurs in A Streetcar Named Marge, where Marge takes part in a local stage production. Her intense emotional connection with the role of Blanche Dubois makes some fans believe she's channeling real-life dissatisfaction with Homer. But emotional expression is not infidelity. Still, the narrative created by fans paints these moments as evidence that Marge's heart sometimes drifts elsewhere, even when the show doesn't depict any romantic interactions at all.
What is the meaning of this?
it's meaningless, Marge. But where will I sleep?
My suggestion is for you to sleep in the filth you created.
Oh, fine. That's what you want? You've got it. This scene is getting old, man. I'm hitting the road. Maybe I'll drop you a line someday.
Dear Hottie, I want to sex you up. Your love slave, Marge.
Good night, Marge. Oh, why didn't I take a picture? I had 10 years to take a picture.
Come, dear, we can dance all night.
One of the most cited, almost cheated episodes is Strong Arms of the Ma, where Marge becomes addicted to bodybuilding, grows distant from Homer, and experiences profound psychological change. Fans often cite her emotional withdrawal and rising aggression as signs she's drifting towards someone else. But again, this isn't shown. People simply take any non-perfect moment in their marriage and retroactively interpret it as romantic betrayal. Then there's the famous episode Life on the Fast Lane, which we've discussed, and after that the next major temptation storyline arguably comes in The Springfield Connection. Where Marge joins the police force and meets her commanding officer. There's an undeniable tension in some of their interactions, and Marge's newfound authority gives her a sense of independence she rarely experiences in the marriage. The subplot where Homer violates the law and Marge has to choose between her duty and her relationship is often edited online to appear like Marge is romantically bonding with her superior. But within the episode, their interactions remain firmly professional. One that gets cited extremely frequently in fan compilations is Lady Bouvier's Lover, in which Marge plays only a secondary role, yet fans repurpose scenes to create narratives where Marge seems dissatisfied with Homer and secretly looking for emotional connection elsewhere. Another often referenced episode is Secrets of a Successful Marriage, where Homer becomes a teacher of adult education and begins revealing personal details about Marge. Some fans interpret her humiliation and withdrawal as evidence she must have been involved emotionally with someone else for validation. Again, this is speculation with no canonical support. One of the more modern episodes that sparked cheating rumors was The Way We Weren't, where Marge discusses her past relationships, including a pre-Homer boyfriend.
What is the meaning of this?
It's meaningless, Marge. But where will I sleep?
My suggestion is for you to sleep in the filth you created.
Oh, fine. That's what you want? You've got it. This scene is getting old, man. I'm hitting the road. Maybe I'll drop you a line someday from wherever I wind up in this crazy old world.
The non-chronological storytelling created a wave of online claims that Marge admitted to cheating. But the timeline clearly shows these were events that happened before she and Homer were officially together. Fans often misremember past timeline episodes as real-time cheating. Then there are jokes, throwaway lines, couch gag references, Treehouse of Horror segments, or alternate universe bits that depict Marge in comedic or exaggerative situations. For example, alternate futures where Homer and Marge are divorced. None of these count toward the main canon, but many Marge cheated lists include them as legitimate episodes.
Dear Hottie, I want to sex you up. Your love slave, Marge.
Good night, Marge. Oh, why didn't I take a picture? I had 10 years to take a picture.
Come, dear, we can dance all night.
Another frequently misunderstood storyline comes from the episode where Marge becomes a real estate agent and works alongside a charming co-worker. Although the scenes hint at possible chemistry, the episode resolves with Marge fully committing to Homer. But social media tends to cut out the ending and use only the build-up, creating an illusion that something actually happened. But perhaps the most complicated emotional storyline develops in episodes focusing on Marge's loneliness.
Hi, Marge. Stay off the west side.
And there's Nick Callahan.
A headset telephone?
Now, let's talk about modern seasons, where newer episodes feature one-off characters who express mild interest in Marge. These moments are typically comedic, like a handsome delivery man flirting with her, but none evolve into actual storylines. Yet clips of these scenes circulate online labeled Marge Cheats, even though the episodes themselves don't support that. There's also the issue of non-canon anthologies. Treehouse of Horror episodes contain parody segments where Marge may behave differently than her canonical self. These episodes aren't meant to be taken seriously, yet countless online posts list them as proof she cheated. But if we look across the series, what we see is not a pattern of Marge cheating. It's a pattern of Marge being seen as cheating because fans project their own interpretations onto emotionally charged scenes. But when we strip away the memes and look at the series itself, a clear truth emerges. Marge Simpson is one of the most loyal characters in animated television. She withstood flirting, attention, misunderstandings, and emotional distance without ever abandoning her marriage. Her temptation arcs are about emotional exploration, not betrayal. Her character is crafted to show restraint, moral conviction, and the struggle of balancing personal desires with family responsibility. As the years went on and The Simpsons evolved from a simple animated sitcom into a cultural monolith, the relationship between Marge and Homer became a mirror for millions of long-term marriages in real life. And with that came new angles, new insecurities, and new interpretations from viewers. Fans began looking at Marge through a lens shaped not just by the episodes themselves, but by decades of accumulated context. Memes, fan theories, online compilations, and commentary channels that often exaggerated moments for entertainment. Sometimes all it took was a single edited clip to rewrite an entire episode in the minds of fans. For example, there's a moment in It's a Mad, 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 Mad Marge where Marge becomes suspicious of the woman Otto plans to marry. The episode actually centers on Marge's instinct to protect her family, yet countless fan edits splice scenes together to imply that Marge and Otto flirt. This never happens. Yet once these altered narratives enter the digital ecosystem, they live forever. A generation of viewers may have never even watched the episode in full. They only know the edited versions circulating online, reinforcing the false narrative that Marge is a frequent cheater. Throughout the show, Marge tries on different roles: police officer, realtor, painter, teacher, artist, writer, chef, gym enthusiast. These roles are designed to show that she is more than just a wife. But because these transformations temporarily take her away from Homer, some fans reframe these arcs as her drifting toward another man. When she joins the gym and becomes muscular, there's a trainer nearby. Suddenly he becomes the guy Marge almost cheated with, even if they never exchange a single flirtatious line. When she joins the police academy, every male officer becomes a supposed suitor. And when she performs in community theater, some viewers insist the director had feelings for her and she reciprocated. The show doesn't actually depict these romantic subplots. They exist only in the imaginations of viewers who expect any storyline involving personal growth to include romantic tension. So when fans ask whether Marge ever cheated on Homer, the true answer is this: Marge never betrayed him, but she was human. She was tempted. She was emotional, and she was sometimes lonely. And that's precisely why her character resonates so deeply. She represents the reality that marriage is not a static fairy tale, but an ongoing negotiation between desire, loyalty, frustration, and hope. And through it all, Marge never stops choosing Homer, flaws and all. So if you've ever seen a video titled "Every Episode Marge Cheated on Homer," now you know. It's based on a mix of exaggeration, misinterpretation, and selective editing. There are episodes where she almost cheats, where she's tempted, where she's flattered by someone else's interest, but never once does she cross the line. And maybe that's the most interesting part of this entire conversation. Fans interpret Marge's emotional arcs as cheating because they're rare, and because Marge's complexity stands out in a world of cartoonish behavior. When Homer gets tempted, fans shrug it off. Every near affair ends with her choosing Homer, not because he's perfect, but because love in a long marriage isn't about perfection. It's about commitment, endurance, and forgiveness. And through all the chaos of the Simpsons universe, Marge never stops choosing her family.